Hello, welcome to the tutorial on how to create a character for RWBY Chronicles. Today we will be using the RWBY Chronicles character builder, RCCB, which you can find on our website. I am PineapplePops, and I am joined today by my glamorous assistant, McNutter.
That's me.
That is you.
Yeah.
You are very glamorous. Right. And today, just as an example, we're going to be making Nora Valkyrie, who is the hammer and grenade wielding. Is it right to call her a crackhead? She's.
I think of all RWBY characters, she's probably the one that.
No, I'm
fits
Neon.
that.
Neon, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Characters we're going to see again at some point. I think fits that.
It's in Volume 9 animatic. Anyway, so.
What does she look like?
Nora.
Character image.
Right, well, we'll get on to that. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill out her name. That's easy enough. Nora, can I spell? So, in RWBY Chronicles, you can click on a box and it will turn orange, and that allows you to edit it. You can type into it using your keyboard, and if you misspell something...
Oh, when did we add the backspacing like that?
That was quite recent, actually. I'm proud of this one.
Nice.
But you can go back and change whatever you need.
That should save some time.
It should save plenty of time. And as we all know, she is on Team Juniper, or Ranger, depending what volume it is. Now, we're going to be making Nora as she was in Volume 1. Obviously, she grows and changes through the series.
As a person.
And also just inexperienced. And, you know, if she were playing Chronicles, she would have leveled up.
Ding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. Right. So, next thing, we have a character image for her. And here is one that I made earlier. It's lovely.
Very graceful.
Exactly.
But I thought she was meant to look like how she did in Volume 1.
This is the one that I managed to pull off the RWBY Wiki. But
fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making your own character, there's sites like Pick where you can make to use an avatar, create an avatar. Sorry. There's.
If you have any kind of artistic skill yourself.
Yeah, exactly. If not, you can pay someone else to do it, which is what I do. I'm a woman of many talents. Art is not one of them. So, first things first, we're going to have a look at the rulebook just here.
Where can you find the rulebook?
Where can you find the rulebook? You can find it on our website, which is www.rwbchroniclescharacterbuilder.co.uk. So, the first thing you would do when creating a character is actually to create a team. Now, it is actually important to come up with the team first. Not only does it help with making the acronym for your team, if you do that first, you don't want to all double up on having the same sort of character. You know, there's no point in having 4 tanky characters if there's no one to support them. There's no point in having everyone be very high attack but weak at one specific thing. The point of a team is you work together and cover each other's bases. You know, nobody's good at everything, and
except for me.
Except for you, of course. So it's important to cover each other's weaknesses. So, next up, what are you? What is Nora? She's a human. Her name is Nora Valkyrie. So, as you know, every character in RWBY is named after a colour, apart from a couple. What colour is Nora Valkyrie? Well, she's pink, obviously, but I don't know how they managed to come to that one. When you're making a character yourself, there's plenty of lists of colours online you can use, or you can pick something that makes you think of a colour. Now, that one's a bit more vague. You have a bit more freedom with that, but you know, when in doubt, there are lists of colours online. So
it just needs to evoke the image of a character rather than. Oh, here's Jim Blue.
Jim Blue.
Yeah.
Jack White. What's happened early today. So, species. There are 3 different species that you can play as in RWBY Chronicles. You can play as a human, so they are the most common species on Remnant. Most people are going to be humans. I don't think we're ever given a specific amount, but it's about 90%, 80% maybe. And you can play as faunus. Now, faunus have a specific faunus trait. So, you know, it could be cat ears, it could be a monkey tail, it could be wings. You can shoot webs, Spider-Man style. There's not really any hard limit on it, other than you can only have one trait. Now, you can also play it as an android, which is similar to a robot, but it has a soul. It has aura. They're very rare and remnant. I think in canon, RWBY, Penny is implied to be the only one, or at least the first, and they are immune to the poison status condition, but take double damage from lightning dust and electrical attacks. Now,
that might be relevant today.
Yeah, it will be with Nora's summons. So, Nora is a human, so that makes things nice and easy. So she can add +1 to any of her starting stats. So, let's go over here first of all. So, you can change screen using your mouse. You can use the arrow keys as well if you want. There's 9 screens in RWBY Chronicles character builder. Top left, middle, top right, middle right, middle left, bottom left, bottom middle, and bottom right. So, character information, like anything to do with like lore and so on, that's on the top middle screen. So, as we said, she is a human.
Woman.
Age, she is 17 at the start of volume 1, so we'll go from that. All of this information is available on the RWBY Wiki.
What a lifesaver.
Exactly, I can't guarantee it's all correct, but
they just make it up sometimes.
Right, so date of birth, she does have one, it's June the 5th. So, dates in RWBY Chronicles, we recommend you measure them from the Great War, which is
AGW and BGW.
Exactly.
Think the Battle of Yavin in Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars and that.
Yeah.
So RWBY Volume 3, when the Bible Festival takes place, is 80 years after the end of the Great War. We're not in canon, but apart from that, there's no other big events that we really know exactly when they were. So we recommend using that as your time frame, you know, big world-changing event. So Nora would have been born
63.
53 years. 63. Thank you. I'm glad you can do that. 63 years after the Great War on June 5th. So, 6.
Correct date format. Woo!
You can do either date format as long as you know which one it is. Type AGW there at the end if you want to. Pronouns. Nora uses she, her pronouns, as far as I'm aware. She has ginger hair, not blue. Speaking of which, her hair colour is ginger.
She does have pink and light blue as her outfit colours. So.
She does,
so
yeah.
Infer from that what
we'll get to that in a moment, it's on this list. Eye colour, it's a kind of cyany blue, so let's do blue. Skin colour, maybe white, I'd say, you know, she's pale. And her aura colour. Now, yeah, aura colour doesn't affect anything, it's generally just a lore thing. It doesn't necessarily need to match the colour of your clothes, although it generally does. It matches your name. Now, that makes the question of, do people pick their outfit colours based on their clothes, or do they pick their aura colour? No, does their aura colour change based on the name? Who makes sure they're all matching? We don't know.
The writers.
So, her aura colour is pink. Right, so, again, according to the RWBY Wiki, she is 155 centimetres.
Small.
Yeah, she's pretty short. Now, your height doesn't affect much in RWBY Chronicles. Your weight affects a bit more. So make sure you have this written down. Now, unfortunately, there's no weight for any of the characters.
That? Yeah.
So, how would you determine it? You'd look at real life people. We can assume that people in Remnant don't exactly weigh much more than they would IRL. So I'd say she's probably about 50 kilograms. You don't need to be super accurate. As long as you have a general weight. Just do bear in mind that it does affect like who can throw you. I think that's the biggest thing it affects, really.
It doesn't have much effect on movement speed, does it?
No, it doesn't. It has no effect on movement speed at all. Her outfit colour is, I'll go with a general pink. There's a bits white on there. At least in V1, maybe pink and white, do you think?
Yeah, for that early one.
Yeah. And her home kingdom is Mistral. So she was born in the kingdom of Mistral. She was an orphan, I believe. We'll get onto that when we move on to her history in a minute. And her emblem, it's in here somewhere. There we go.
Hammer.
Lovely. It is a hammer with a lightning bolt and it's perfect. So, next up on the list, history, relationships, and personality traits. So, essentially, the next step in creating your character is deciding why are they the way that they are? How have they managed to make it here? What's their deal? So, first things first, Nora's history, she was orphaned in Kamayori, wasn't it? So.
I believe that was the story we were given. Spoilers if you haven't watched this far in the show, by the way.
Yeah, we expect that if you're playing this, you've watched the show. Spoiler alert: Penny dies like twice.
What?
More spoilers. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad.
I was gonna watch Empire tomorrow, and you've ruined it for me now. Okay. Carrying on.
Carrying on. So our editor is going to speed this up a bit. I'm sure that our editor sped that up and put some funny music over it. You don't need to write loads for your history. You can write anything from a paragraph or two to, about 1,000 words or so. I wouldn't recommend putting loads and loads in. The more that you have already written out, the harder it can be to for your GM to digest all that. But on the flip side, make sure you do write at least the basics. Give them something to work with. Who do they know? How do they know them? Where do they come from? What kind of upbringing have they had? And how have they managed to get to the situation that they're in now? So, as it stands here, where have they come from? How did they grow up? What events have affected them? And have they had any training previously? So, Nora was orphaned, and so she was rescued by Ren, and since then together they've been stuck together like peanut butter and jelly, as the Americans would say. Next up is relationships. So, the relationships that Nora has with everyone else. Now, you don't need to do everybody, and again, we're making Nora as she was in Volume 1, so
she's not going to know the majority of the characters that she spends most of her time with.
So the biggest one would be Ren, first of all. that will do for them. So next up is personality traits. Now this one you can leave as like pretty vague bullet points. Essentially just explain how your character acts and reacts. So, if you're stuck, think of some words that describe your character. How would you describe Nora? I would say cheery.
Upbeat. She's quirky.
Yeah.
She kind of fits that mid 2010s quirky girl.
Oh, she does. Mammy Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah,
isn't she? That's probably why she's changed it over time. Although this is a fun one, as we said.
Yeah.
Cheery, hyperactive, quirky, aggressive. And I think that's about all we need for the character traits, really.
You kind of summed it up there a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so next up is just filling out their character starting equipment. So everyone begins with a squirrel, sleeping bag, rope, and first aid kit.
Which it should have added by default, shouldn't it?
Add those down here
by
default.
Woo.
Excellent. Now, if you type in the name of any item from the rulebook into RCCB, it will automatically fill it out for you. So, for example, let's have a look. Let's see the rad shades. Let's give her some cool shades.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Just go down here and press add item. Type in the name. We'll fill it out for you. You can also type whatever you like in there with the amount of that item, the weight, and the value, and a quick description. And
as long as it's a predetermined item that we've.
No, you can do it for anything.
So if I make some if I give my character a cabbage.
Yeah, it won't fill out cabbage.
Yeah, it's not going to have all the information for that, is it?
No, unfortunately, cabbage is not that.
Not
special.
an item.
But you can fill that out yourself using these boxes.
Yeah.
Right, so back to where we were, we've done all that. And up here, where were we? Dust. So you start with 10 units of dust, which you can fill out over here. So do you think Nora would have quite a lot of lightning dust?
Probably.
Yeah, I'll give her 3 of those. What else do you think? Maybe one of space dust. Bit of combustion dust, perhaps. It'd help her with her grenades.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of?
Probably just one of each of the more generic ones, like a fire, a water.
Yeah, we'll give them one fire.
An earth, wind, and fire.
Exactly. And we've got that sort of give as well. Why not? All right. That's just started, so you can start with 10 units of any dust.
Up to a max of 15.
That is how much you can carry, yeah? You can always collect more during the game, you can buy it at shops, but that is the maximum you can carry at once. You can upgrade that number as you level up. Right, next up, money. So by default, you start with 500 lien. 1 lien is roughly equivalent to $1 US, at least at time of writing. Depending on if you're richer or poorer, you can change that. Nora, she's a bit poorer. I'm going to set that as, say, 200.
She did try and steal a cat bread one time.
Yeah, exactly. So she's not super rich, is she? And that's a life savings. It's probably more than we have at this point. Trauma. Now then, this is normally 0 for most people, but if you've experienced some nasty shit in your life, you might start with 1 trauma point. I wouldn't start with any more than that, quite honestly. It will be detrimental to your character. So
this kind of prevents you from doing much at the beginning of the game, really, doesn't
you wouldn't
it? Yeah,
you wouldn't want to have a normal. So essentially, as the game carries on, your character's going to see some stuff that isn't great. They might see deaths, they might see violence, and this is just a reality of being a huntsman. So Nora she's seen her mother die. She's seen, a city destroyed. She's been an orphan for a while. She'll probably start with 1 trauma, so you can find this on the top middle page. I'm set that on 1. 1 trauma doesn't have too much of an effect, but it does rack up pretty quickly, and once you get past 3 or 4, you're in big trouble. So, corruption. This is a measurement of how corrupted your character is, how grimified they are, how much they've dealt with Salem. Now, for most characters, this is going to start at 0, and likewise, Nora, it's going to start at 0. You can edit that there on this top middle page. Now then, on to the fun stuff. Your base stats. So, in RWBY Chronicles, there are 7 base statistics. Strength, dexterity, endurance, intelligence, perception, willpower, and charisma. They're in that order, and they're usually colour-coded when needed, just so you know which one's which. Now, there's a description of each one here, and exactly what each one is used for. I will go through as we fill out the sheet. So, when you are creating a character, you rank each of your starting stats from 7 is the highest to 1 is the lowest. So the thing that they are best at will be a 7, and the thing they're second best at is going to be a 6, and then a 5, and a 4, 3, 2, 1 is going to be the worst stat for them. 1 is the thing that they're crap at. So, Nora. Oh, let's have a think. I think the thing she'd probably be best at would be strength, She's
Be strong and hit stuff.
Exactly, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Be strong and hit stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give her a starting stat of 7 in strength. Now, your starting stats you set in the beginning, and your base stat is what you get at the end after all the modifiers. I think the thing she'd probably be best at after that would be endurance. Very useful when you're swinging around a hammer. She's big, she's tough. She's not big, but she is tough.
Not gonna get moved around easily.
Exactly. She's made of bricks, that woman. And that'll be very useful for swinging around a hammer. So, strength controls how physically strong you are, how good you are at swinging around a melee weapon, how much you can lift. Whereas endurance is more of how much you can endure. It's how tough you are. It controls how much aura you have as well. It can affect your defense, and it's generally quite good if you want a tanky character to have high endurance, high strength, and high willpower, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, I would say that the next thing that she's best at would be charisma. She's a chatty girl. She's pretty switched on. Charisma is how good you are at essentially talking to other people and dealing with them. Now, as we said before, she's nice, she's cheery, she's happy-go-lucky. She can be a bit annoying, which is probably why this isn't any higher. But she's generally pretty good at charisma overall.
In a game sense, she'd do pretty good at speech checks, wouldn't she?
Exactly. She would be good at talking to other people, persuading them perhaps, deceiving them perhaps a bit less so, but, she's pretty likeable all around.
Endears herself to others quite easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Her willpower, I think, would be next. She's pretty adamant. Now, your willpower in-game controls your aura and semblance, but it is also an ability kind of used for defense in the sort of mental sense of dealing with stuff that happens and like how it affects you. So anything that comes to your mind is going to use either willpower or charisma or both. Now we get onto the stats that she's less good at. I think dexterity. She's pretty dexterous. She's not like
Not the quickest,
super fast.
but
She's she's short. That doesn't help. But she's not exactly slow either. So I'll put that as a 3. Do you?
she took a while to climb that rock.
She did, exactly. So dexterity controls like how fast you move, but it also controls your finger dexterity, how good you might be at shooting. Now intelligence, Nora, not the brightest part, but she's not completely dumb. So that's me a dumb. That's me a 2, I think. That controls how good you are with dust, how good you are with the academic subjects, and how good you are at generally thinking about what things are happening. I will say the most common check in the game is an intelligence and perception check, which you use when you go into a new area just to have a look around, see what you see. And Nora, unfortunately, with intelligence of 2 and a perception of 1, is probably not going to be great at these. Now then, you might recall earlier that she is a human. So she gets a +1 to one of her starting stats to give herself an edge up. This is to balance out the faunus trait that faunas get and the special abilities that androids get. So where do you think this should go? Do you use it to either increase her strength that's already good, or kind of balance out something?
Maybe bring up, one of the lower ones. Per and in, maybe.
Second, maybe? I don't think she's completely blind or anything like that, so... Yeah, we'll put that as a 2. So now she's a little bit better at wandering into rooms. Although, let's be honest, Nora, I feel like she'd wander into a room, look around for any food, and not really notice anything else.
Not see that and then walk back out.
Exactly.
Your objective isn't right there, love.
Right. So, that's her base stats done. Now, so each base stat corresponds to ability dice. So you have your stat here and your ability dice there. As your stat increases, the dice associated with it also increases. When you're rolling a check in RWBY Chronicles, you roll your base die and then add the ability die for the 2 abilities involved. So if you're asked to roll a strength and end check, you'd roll your base die, you'd roll your ability dice for strength, which for Nora is 1d12, and you'd roll your ability dice for endurance as well, which is 1d10. Your base die is written down here. You can change it by increasing your XP. Yeah, at level 1, it'd be just a 1d6. Alright, so next up, like we said, character's level, we're making it level 1. If you want to start a higher level, speak to your GM. Semblances. Semblances are rather complicated to create. There's quite a few different ones in the show. There's a lot of variety of them. Some are very powerful, some are quite weak, and it really depends on what you're going for. There's a big long explanation of the semblance creation process coming up in version 1.2, which should be up at the same time that this video is. But essentially, think about what you want it to do, and then think about how you can do that in-game. There's no point in saying, oh, my character does this and this and this, if it doesn't actually affect the game at all. So give it like an actual effect of what it does. Now, in terms of balancing a semblance, again, that's quite a tricky process. You do get used to it as you go along. Speak with your GM if you're stuck, but generally, anything that does any of these things, like giving you additional action points, incapacitating someone or taking them out of a fight, or long-range teleportation, don't break the game.
I think the hardest part of coming up with a semblance is thinking, how do I make this fit within the game rules of, like, what effect does this do? What kind of check do I need to make?
Yeah. Well,
It's easy to think, oh, here's a superpower I want to have. But
Yeah.
It's a bit harder to think.
So there's a lot of tools at your disposal. You know, there's a lot of different stats conditions, a lot of things you can do. It could be anything from increasing your tension points for like a quick bonus that works anywhere, or giving yourself a circumstance bonus, or inflicting some sort of stats condition perhaps, or even just dealing additional damage. It really depends. Semblances are just damn near endless. You can do basically anything with them. The only issue is they generally cost some sort of aura or have a trigger. And just make sure you write what the aura cost, AP cost, or the trigger is in your semblance box, which you can find here. So Nora actually has a passive semblance. So there's two different types of semblances. Active ones that you have to activate, and passive ones which just kind of trigger in response to something or are just active all the time. Now, Nora has a passive semblance essentially. When she's struck by any sort of electrical attack or lightning or lightning dust, she gets strength and ability bonus essentially. So, I've written out her semblance in advance, but essentially, this is pretty much how it would work. When she is struck by lightning or struck by an attack that from lightning dust, or just generally struck by electricity, she can gain 5 tension points, which
Puts a fork in a plug socket.
that represents the initial just like boost. And she can also add the melee or projectile effect of lightning dust to any attack she makes for the rest of the scene. So you can see there, it's got a defined endpoint. It's got a defined effect, gaining tension and applying the dust effect. Because it's a passive semblance, it doesn't have any like AP or aura costs, but it's a pretty weak semblance, all things considered. Now, when deciding your semblance, you need to select the tier of the semblance. Now, list of them here. So C tier is generally like okay semblance. It's mid tier. It's not great, but it's not awful. D tier, that's reserved for things like Crow's Bad Luck or Ironwood's Metal. B tier semblances, the general good ones, like Ruby's, Blake's, Yang's. A tier semblances tend to be very powerful. Tyrion's, where you can just go straight through aura. Raven's long range teleportation with some caveats. Or Clover, which I'm pretty sure just lets you roll better on your dice. And then there's the S tier overpowered ones. Speak to your GM if you want to make one of these, because they can very easily break a game if you're not careful about it. But Nora's, I would say it's C. It's pretty meh overall. It doesn't come up very often.
When it's convenient for the plot.
Exactly.
When
it's convenient for the plot. Naturally, if you have a semblance like this, your GM is going to give you more opportunities to use it. So expect to be struck by lightning quite often. Now, this means that there's no stat change on her starting stats or anything like that. So we can keep these as they are. The next step, Fairy Tale. So there's a few different ones to choose from. These are essentially classes in RWBY Chronicles. Now, what would you say would fit best for Nora? She works at close and mid range, but she's not exactly long range.
The Butcher.
The Butcher, perhaps, yeah. She has quite a lot of attacks that use a lot of AP, so that one might be quite useful for her. And inflicting bleeding would be pretty good for her. She's also hyperactive, so increasing her initiative bonuses there.
Yeah, let's go with that
So
one.
we'll go with the butcher.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a common one. Quite a lot of people pick it.
I know my character has it.
Exactly. All right. So now that we've essentially set the characters' starting and base stats, you can see the derived stats over here. There's a list of them in the rulebook, just after the page about fairy tales. The first one is their defense. This is essentially how hard they are to hit. If someone is trying to hit you, they will need to meet or beat that defense number in order to hit when they roll an attack check. You can see that here. It's 17 for Nora, which is good. I love it.
That's pretty good, yeah.
That's pretty good.
So anyone trying to hit her needs to roll higher than the 17. Or 17
yeah,
exactly.
If it's 17 exactly, yeah. Mental defense is a similar sort of thing, but for mental attacks. So any sort of grim that does psychic damage, or anyone trying to intimidate you or scare you or anything like that, it will need to go against your men. Now this tends to be a bit lower than your physical defense. Not always, depends on the type of character you have, but for most frontline characters like Nora, it's going to be a bit lower than your defense. So keep an eye on it, because enemies can use it as a way to take you off guard. So those are both calculated as the highest two out of your strength, your dexterity, and your endurance, +4, and the highest two out of your intelligence, willpower, and charisma, +4, respectively. So you drop the lowest out of those three, basically. So for Nora, the highest two are strength and endurance. So you ignore dexterity and add 4, which gives you 7 + 6 + 4, which my glamorous assistant is going to calculate for me now. 17.
Yeah.
So. And for men, it'd be will and charisma, so you don't have the perception there. Right. Then the next derived step after that is your hit points. Now this isn't necessarily equivalent to hit points in most other tabletop RPGs. It's more similar to Halo, which RWBY takes a lot of inspiration from. Once your shield is gone, you lose hit points. And in the RWBY Chronicles, once your aura is gone, you start to lose HP. If you start losing HP, that is a good sign to get out of the battle and stay in a more support position for a bit until the end of that scene. Now, aura is the manifestation of your soul. It simultaneously is your main health bar, but it also controls how much you can use your semblance and how much you can empower your attacks with aura. Now then, by default, you roll for your aura, so you can click this button here to roll for a result, and you can see the dice you've rolled here as well. Or you can right click to set it as the average. So for Nora, that'd be 92. It will tell you if you hover it over here, hover your mouse over this. Speed is essentially how far your character can go for the cost of 1 AP in meters, so that's 8 meters or 8 tiles. Then you've got your Huntsman Mastery. Now this is essentially a measure of how far you've come and how good you are at covering your own weaknesses. So you take your lowest 2 base stats, add your level, and then divide the total by 4 and round up. So level 1 is going to be normally 1 or 2. If you're focusing on maximising your most powerful stat, it'll be lower. If you're focusing on being a bit more balanced, it'll be higher. Next up is your carrying capacity. This is just how much you can carry in kilograms. So RWBY Chronicles does run on the metric system, kilograms, meters, that sort of thing. So if you're trying to use something else, good luck. If you're carrying more stuff than your carrying capacity, you will become encumbered. It will warn you down here. It does track your weight on the inventory screen on the bottom middle. Your base AP per turn. This is how many action points you get at the start of each of your turns. Now, action points do carry over. You get a maximum of 12 at once. At level 1, it's going to be 5. It does increase as you level up. Your parry threshold. This is the threshold at which, if someone rolls under this or equal to it, you can parry their attack. For most characters,
it's going to be quite low.
It's going to be quite low, yeah. If you're a very dexterous character or very perceptive, it'll be a bit higher. But if someone catastrophically whiffs their attack and gets a 5, they roll 5, Nora can go,
It's been known to happen.
It has been known to happen. It does happen. You can check the chances that it happens using RCCB. The next one is your coolness modifier. This is based on your charisma, and this is the bonus that you add to cool dice when you roll them. Now, on RWBY Chronicles, you can roll a cool die here. So, click this button to add one, and then press the use cool die button, and it will add it to your next roll. So, if we're going to roll a, let's say Dex and Int check, perhaps she's sneaking around, roll check. And you'll see there, cool die has added an additional 2 to the result. Now, she's pretty cool, so she's got a coolness of 1 at level 1, which isn't bad. You'll also notice there that tension is tracked on the right. The more tension points you have, the more little bonuses you get. You see there, it goes all the way up to 25. I really hope the noise of that is not picking up. But you can track that down there and press Control to reset it to 0. So now we've set the aura. I'm just going to heal her up. Okay, and the last stat is the initiative bonus. You add this to any initiative rolls. You can roll initiative by pressing this button down here. So, next up, creating your weapon. This is the fun part. Nora's weapon is a big old hammer. It also works as a grenade. So, grenade launcher, sorry. In RWBY Chronicles, you can have up to 3 weapons at once. If your weapon has multiple forms, just put it all as one weapon.
Which they should do.
Which they should do. This is
also
exactly. It is always also a gun, unless it isn't. So, Nora's weapon is called McNutter.
I'm glad you remembered that. I'd forgot.
No, it's fine. So it's called McNutter. It is a hammer that is also a grenade launcher and can transform between the two. So, for the class of weapon, there are 9 to pick from, and these are light melee, light ranged, light melee ranged, and medium and heavy variants thereupon. That bit depends on how much the weapon weighs. Now, if you're not sure how much the weapon might weigh, you can always Google like similar things and see how much they'd weigh in real life. So, you know, if you've got an SMG submachine gun, you can always Google how much that weighs, and you'll probably be put on a list somewhere. Weapons have 4 parts. They have a name, a description, a weight, and a weapon class. So we've got the name done. The class for this, I would say, is
medium.
I'd say it's a big hammer. I'd say probably heavy melee ranged, perhaps.
Yeah. Spelling mistake.
Thank you very much. So, your weapon class doesn't affect loads. It affects what upgrades are available for you later on, which you can select down here. I would say the weight is probably around 10 kilograms. You know, hammers can get pretty heavy. Grenade launchers are not exactly light either. And then your weapon description you can write here. So, McNutter is
big old hammer.
Now with this is flavour. Describe your weapon as well as you can, with as much detail as you need. Now then, the last part of creating a character is creating an attack, or creating attacks for them.
This is the real reason why we're here today.
This is because a few people got stuck on this bit, but we'll try and do this as quickly as we can. So, we start with at least 3 pre-made attacks. You can always add more. I'd recommend 10 as your maximum. Now then, there are quite a few different parts to making an attack. The character's the attack's name, all the better. The types of the attack and the keywords of the attack. The check that you need to roll when you make that attack check. The AP cost of the attack. The aura cost of the attack. If any, yep. Precision bonus of the attack. The range of the attack. How much damage it deals, and the description and effects. You can create an attack in 7 easy steps. So, why don't you help me out on this one? So, first things first, choose the check for the attack. So, I think, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to make an attack based on the hammer form of McNutter. So, what would you say would be a good name for it?
I'm thinking really hard here.
A great actor.
Hammer Slammer. Sounds
Hammer
quite
Slammer.
funny. And it rhymes.
It does rhyme, doesn't it? Right, so...
Just swinging it would be a melee.
Exactly, it will be a melee attack. So, for attack types, it'll be nice and simple, it'll be melee. So, the first thing you do when creating an attack is you choose the check for the attack. Now, when you're rolling an attack, just like any other check, you roll the base die and then you roll 2 different ability dice as well. So, I'd say for swinging a hammer around, it'd be a heavy melee weapon. It's bludgeoning, and you know, those both fit pretty well into strength and endurance.
Which is good because those are her strongest stats.
Exactly. It's almost like she's very good at the things she
swinging
does.
a hammer.
She's great at swinging a hammer. So essentially what you would do to choose the check is have a look at this list here for some inspiration and think about what statistics apply most to that attack. So in this case, strength and endurance. We set them here on this list. Generally I like to put them in the order they appear in the list, but it doesn't really matter which way around they go. Next up, the attack's types. So as we already discussed, this is a melee attack, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in the attack types box we wrote melee. Now there's 4 general types of attacks. There's melee attacks, which are attacks that make contact with like a sword or an axe or a hammer in this case. Range attacks, guns, maybe a bow and arrow, if you fancy like that. Area attacks, these hit more than one person at the same time with the same attack check. Or status effects, status attacks, which still count as attacks. They don't normally do damage, but they might give you some other sort of boost instead. So this is a melee attack. Because it is a melee attack, the default range is 2 meters. Fill that in there. Next up, step 3. This is where it gets a bit tricky. So, selecting the action point cost and precision. I would say this is generally a pretty strong attack. It'll take a few seconds to hit. So, the more action points that an attack costs, the more you can do with it. But you'll get to use less on your turn. You only get a certain number of AP per turn, and using all in one attack, then you're not going to be doing much on your turn. I'd say 3 AP is a pretty happy middle. And the precision bonus, I'd say it's pretty reckless, you know.
Swinging a big hammer
Swinging
around.
a big hammer around. You know, I don't think she's following OSHA regulations. So that ends up being a reckless 3 AP attack. So in this table, you can see where those 2 meet. And you get 60 balance points to start off with. Next round number. So the first thing I'm going to do is just check, do we have any additional costs and keywords for this one? It's not costing any aura, I wouldn't say. so that's fine. It's not using any dust. You only need this if you're using an entire unit of dust at once, which I don't think she would be. No, she's not like a dust-based fighter. And none of these keywords really apply to her. It's not a chain attack, it's not a finisher or a follow-up or anything like that. So I think we can skip step 5 for this one. And so we don't need the pink table of doom over there. So the next step, step 6. Adding some effects to your attack. So the way the attack creation in RWBY Chronicles works is you get a certain number of balance points to start off with, in this case 60, and then you spend them on all the different effects you want to add to that attack. 60 is the budget, so we can add whatever we want from this big grey table, as long as it doesn't go over 60. So, first things first, I think because it's quite a big hammer, we're going to increase her range by just a meter, so she can whack people from one more tile away if she needs to. So, to increase the the range of a melee attack by 1 meter, it would just cost 2 balance points. So we start with 60, and it's gone down to 58 now. And our lovely editor will add this on the screen so you can keep track. Next, I think damage, perhaps, or no, we can do any additional effects we want to do, and then leave the rest to damage. You can do it either way around. Like I said, as long as it adds up to less than your budget, you're fine. So I would say being hit with a hammer would stun someone pretty badly.
I think that would happen to me if I got hit by one.
Exactly. So the cost to stun someone, 1 stack of stun costs 30 minus 10, which is 20 balance points. So we've got 58, and we're going to take away 20 from that, leaving us with 38. Nice. And then I think the rest is going to go on damage. So there's numerous different dice you can roll for damage. Each one has a different balance point cost. Dealing 1d4 damage costs 5 balance points, 1d6 is 7, and so on. So we got 38 left. So you can see up here, you can roll 1d-A damage and 1d-B damage. Now essentially, in this situation, you could roll your ability die for that stat. So 1d-A will be the higher of the 2 stats that you're using in the check. So in this case, Nora's strength is higher than her endurance. So d-A would be strength, and d-B would be endurance. And to roll 1d-A in this situation would be to roll 1d strength, 1d12, and 1d-B would be 1d10. The dice listed here.
She's rolling a d12 and a d10 together.
She would for the check, yes.
Yeah.
For damage, what we're going to do is we've got 38 balance points, so let's do 36. Would be 12 times 3 is 36, so we can roll 3d-A, which in this case will be 3d strength, and then we've got 2 left over just for an additional 1 damage there at the end. So the damage here, 3d strength plus 1. Now if you type it out like that with the ability start in that after the 3D, RCCB will automatically calculate it for you. So now I'm just filling the rest, so that's reckless, that's fine, that's not or what?
3 AP.
3 AP, wasn't it? Yeah. So
Range is also increased to 3.
Range is also increased to 3, thank you very much. Right, so now if you go over here, you'll see it's appeared in the list of attacks to select from, and if you ever press roll attack, it will roll the attack for you. If that's a 19, that's a pretty good hit. And if you ever need to roll damage, it will roll whatever's in this box here, which you can see is 20. Next up, the attack description and effects. So, first of all, give a brief description of what the attack looks like. So, In this case, Nora hits one target with her hammer. It is generally a good idea to specify with one target if it's not already clear. And then you add any effects that the attack actually has. So we said it's going to inflict stun 1. So on hit, inflicts stun 1. Keeping it in brackets like that just helps signify what that is. So, nice and easy attack. Next up, I think that we can maybe give her a stronger hammer attack for, and she's really swinging it about. So, this one we'll call Home Run. Again, the check is probably Strength and Endurance. It's similar to the last one. You can have 2 of the same check, but what I wouldn't do is have 2 attacks that are basically the same, so they're the same precision bonus, the same AP cost, and the same check, because at that point they're the same attack, really, and you know, if you're never really going to use one over the other, they're going to become very circumstantial. It's just not a good idea. Spread your attacks out. So again, we go back up the list, choose the check for the attack, yep, strength and end again, the attack's types, melee, quite similar to the last one, so we can go through it a bit quicker. And the action point and precision bonus of this attack. So, I would say this is going to be a stronger attack. This is a 5 AP attack, and I'm going to say it's very reckless.
Yes, I would agree.
So, I'll actually say this is going to be a very reckless 5 AP attack. So that gives us a lot of balance points to work with, 120 of them. I'm going to keep it at 2 meters range for this one, just to simplify things a bit. But what I am going to do is increase the damage. So again, there's no other keywords or costs or anything like that. It's not going to cost any additional aura. Nora's a pretty simple woman. You know, she whacks things. Be strong and hit stuff. And this is certainly hitting stuff.
Well, that's the hope, at least.
Well, you'd hope, yeah. It's very reckless, so the precision bonus is lower, so the chance of hitting actually goes down. If you do need to calculate the chance of hitting against target defense or mental defense, you can use this button here. You'll see that it will recalculate for you automatically. So it's -1 precision and 5 AP cost. And you'll see there that the average roll has dropped. She's less likely to hit with this attack. So, attacks effects. This one, I think, it should be something that she uses later on in the fight. It's going to increase in damage as her tension goes up. So, you can deal damage equal to your tension points on a hit, and that's 17 balance points to make it equal to your tension. Again, our CCB will calculate this automatically. Now we have a lot of balance points to spend.
Yeah.
We have a lot here. So I'm going to say it deals 5 times the tension points plus 1, just in case it's quite low. Okay. And that leaves us with 33 balance points. So we've still got quite a lot left, and it's a very heavy hitting attack. So, if you're hit by armor, what might you do? You might
be knocked on your back.
Might be knocked on your ass, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that this target is going to knock people back a bit and also knock them prone. So, the cost to knock someone prone is 12. So 33 minus 12 is 21. And also to knock them back up to 10 meters, I would say. It's a pretty far, it's a home run. I'm not entirely sure how big a baseball pitch is. So the cost to do that is 2 times x. X in this case is 10 meters. So the cost would be 2 times 10, which is 20. And 23 minus...
21.
Sorry, yeah, 21 minus 20 is 1. So we get exactly 1 balance point left at the end. Unfortunately, there's not much you can spend that one on. I've just been at the attack effect in advance there to speed things up a bit. Attack effects are written in the order that they go off. So in this case, it will knock them 10 metres away and then knock one prone. I don't know if that will make much difference, but if you ever need it, there you are. So we've got 2 attacks. I think one more should do the trick for now.
Yeah, should we do a shooty one?
Yeah, let's do a ranged grenade attack. Now, this one's going to be a bit more complicated. So, by default, an area attack will go off with you at the centre. Now, if you're making a grenade, you don't want that going off in your face. So, this attack is going to be an area attack with a radial shape, circular shape, like an explosion radius. But it's also going to be ranged because you're going to fire the grenade and then it's going to explode at a separate point. First things first, we're going to choose these check for the attack, and I would say it's a heavy weapon still, and it's probably going to have high recoil. Not exactly the most accurate thing either, so I think endurance still fits for that one. It also works well with Nora, but it's not a strength attack. She's not really using strength to do this. So, it's endurance still fits quite well for it. And I would say, you know, you're firing a grenade. Grenades on Remnant are generally dust-based, although in this case they can just be explosive, generic. So I'd say this is also an intelligence-based attack. Now, intelligence is something that Nora isn't quite as good at, so this attack probably
could miss a bit, but then you are lobbing a grenade across the field somewhere, so
exactly.
You're not really going for accuracy here, are you?
Yeah. What does this say? A bullet may have your name on it, but a grenade is to whom may be concerned.
No return to sender.
I think that's a Call of Duty thing, isn't it?
Something like that. I couldn't even tell you.
Right. Well, that's the check down. So endurance and intelligence. We'll set that here. And the next step is the attack type. So this one actually has 2. Like I said, it is an area attack because it hits everyone in an area where only the grenade explodes. But it is also ranged because you are firing the grenade and the grenade does not explode around you. So you are moving the origin point. So here, right, range. It doesn't matter which order you put those in. And also if you just include the radius of the explosive, so in this case, 4 meter radius. Do make sure you include that, because otherwise people might start using the range as the radius, or the radius of the range. So, this attack's going to be a bit more difficult to create, because you're going to have to go back and forth with it. Because it's a bit based on her intelligence, as well as her endurance, the attack check is less likely to hit overall anyway, because her intelligence is just not as high. So, I would say counteract that. We're going to make it balanced. We get a balanced position bonus. However, because it is an area attack, you'll see in a moment that will change. So we are going to make it a 3 AP attack, so she can use this just once a turn, but she'll still have some AP left over to use some weaker attacks if she needs to. That gives her 55 balance points to play with, which is pretty good. Alright, so this one again doesn't have any keywords, so we can leave that page. However, it is an area attack. So in this pink table here, it shows you all the things that may affect your balance points before you start adding effects. So here we've got, if it costs an order to use, you can add 2 balance points. If it costs a whole unit of dust to use, you can add 50 balance points. If it's a multi-attack, or flanks, or mental attack, all these keywords modify how many balance points you get to start with. Now we are making an area attack. It attacks everyone in that area, so we don't need to worry about this one. If you want your attack to just hit enemies, or just hit your allies, you will need to subtract some balance points. It does have a cost. So this attack that we're making here, this grenade, affects all targets in a circular area, radius X meters. So we've said that the radius is 4, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
And so X is 4. So what we do is take that 55, which will be helpfully shown on the screen, and divide that by, well, you multiply that by 2, and then divide it by X, which in this case is 4. 55 times 2, and then divided by 4, gives you 27.5, which we're going to round up to 28, so it says here, round your VP up. So we get 28 balance points to spend as we move into the effects table. That's not loads, is it? But the first thing I do is say, I want to add a bit more range to this grenade. So because it's a ranged attack, it starts with a range of 5 meters. I'm going to increase the range to 10 meters, and that will cost us 5 balance points. So 28 minus 5 is 23, exactly, and gives you a range of 10. While I'm here, whilst I'm just going to fill this out. Now you may notice back here, an area attack, you have a -1 to the precision bonus. So even though it's a balanced attack at the start, the precision bonus drops by 1, so it now becomes 0. Just leave that as it is, and the AP cost is 3. Well, what do we want this grenade to do? We don't actually have many balance points left. We have 23.
All on damage?
Yeah, put the rest on damage. Now, we're just a bit short of 2d air. So what I'm going to do instead is, because this isn't really based on how high knowledge endurance is or how high intelligence is, I'd say just a flat dice roll will do for this.
Okay.
So I'm going to say deals 2d10 damage, that'll give us 22. It's not on a scale as she grows as a person, it's always going to stay about the same. So 2d10 damage. And again, RCCB will
we haven't named
that automatically. We haven't named it. What do you think would be a good name? How about crowd control?
Yeah.
Crowd control.
That's very much what she's doing.
Shooting at some birds, yeah. Right.
Or the man.
Crow the man. That's spelled with Q. But yeah. Now what's left to do is write exactly what it does do. So, it's a pretty simple attack. Nora is firing a grenade at a point within 10 meters, targeting everyone within a 4-meter radius of that point. So, there you go. That's the description for that right now. It explains who it's targeting and tells you what she's doing exactly. She's firing a grenade at a point within 10 meters, which targets all creatures within 4 meters of that point. Now, I will just remind you that it will hit all creatures, so make sure your allies are not in the way. Right, and that's that. That is how you create a character in RWBY Chronicles.
Just check that we've got everything.
I'm just going to double check
I
we've got
think
everything.
we do.
Yeah, there's everything there. There's perks down here, which you won't need at level 1, but you can always pick once you've got enough XP. That is if you need to change from PC mode or change to Grim mode. I would not make Nora Grim, despite how menacing she may be. Everything seems fine there. She's only got 1 weapon, so you can leave those 2 as they are. Last few things to go over. You can track your aura here, or if you want, you can type in number there, plus minus, and it'll subtract it automatically, or plus, and we'll add it back on. You can press partial heal aura here, and it will roll the aura regen that you get at the end of a 15-minute rest. Or you can fully heal your aura and HP there. That will also reset your tension.
Shirley doesn't have any HP.
Well, now she does.
Now she does.
Now she does. So, if you want to roll a check, you can select 2 stats that you'd like to use for that check. Got Kingdom Will here. And press roll check. You have circumstance bonus here using the spinner. This is automatically added to the check. As you can see there, +2. You can also type in the box there if you want. And if you're rolling an attack, you can manually type in a precision bonus here.
But that will automatically be added in.
Yeah, so
if you've
-1.
specified.
Yeah. That one there is only added to attacks, whereas this is added to all sorts of checks, including attacks. You can roll damage there. You can type in custom damage there, or anything you'd like to roll. So 1d4, for example. You can just roll a generic 1d4 and specifically roll it as damage, and that will automate certain things for you. You can roll your baseline here 3 times. That's useful for some stats conditions. You can roll a teamwork check there, and it will also let you know if you've succeeded or failed. Like I said, you can track your tension there. Your cool dice and your awesome dice are here, and you can also track your AP there. Press new AP, new turn, it will fill out your AP according to what your base AP is there. You can track your inventory here. It's there to add an item. And down here, we'll give you a list of all the dust effects. Now, these automatically calculate the different DCs for the checks. So, if your GM does ever ask you, what's the DC for this one, you will need to tell them, or they will need to know your stats and calculate themselves. If you'd like to save your character, you can just press this button here, and it will ask you where you want to save it. Do make sure you save it somewhere that you aren't going to lose it, because you will need it for later. And you can also press this button to load a new character in. Or you can click here to just save the latest rather than having your date.
That's what I do pretty much.
Yeah, so
Because it's like the only version of the file I'm ever going to be.
And the last thing is you can export to an FDF file. Now this will allow you to import it into the paper character sheet. All you need to do is download the file, double click it, and then it will ask you to find the character sheet, which can also be downloaded
on the website.
Exactly, yeah. I'm glad you did jazz hands there, that the microphone picked up.
They have their own musical cue in them. I'm like a TF2 taunt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, if you do have any questions, just feel free to message one of us in our Discord server or give us an email at RWBY.Chronicles@proton.mu. Right, I think that's everything. So thank you for watching, and good luck and happy character creation.
Woo.